Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're taking a really deep dive into the hidden behavioral mechanics behind, well, all of our favorite apps. If you've ever stopped and wondered why your thumb just keeps swiping, you are absolutely in the right place. We're going to break down exactly how these platforms are specifically designed to captivate your mind, and more importantly, how we can take back control of our time.
I mean, it's a shared struggle, isn't it? Why can't you stop scrolling? We all do it. You tell yourself, okay, I'll just check my phone for 1 minute, and then boom, suddenly 30 minutes or even an hour completely disappear into this void of endless content. Why is it so incredibly hard to just put the phone down?
Well, here's the industry secret. When you open up Instagram or TikTok or Facebook, you aren't just casually looking at pictures and videos. You're actually facing off against thousands of psychologists, designers, and highly advanced algorithms. And the crazy thing is, they're all competing for one highly valuable resource, and that is your attention. Our attention is literally being actively and intentionally hijacked by experts. And honestly, the scariest part? Most of us don't even realize it's happening.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1. The slot machine in your pocket. To truly wrap our heads around the invisible brain chemistry happening on these apps, I want you to imagine you're playing a slot machine. Sometimes you win, sometimes you don't, right? But because you never know exactly when that next big reward is coming, you just keep pulling the lever. Social media actually works through a concept called variable reward reinforcement. Every single notification, every like, every comment gives your brain this tiny little hit of dopamine, the chemical associated with pleasure and reward. And because these digital rewards are totally unpredictable, your brain becomes fiercely motivated to just keep pulling that digital lever, refreshing the page over and over again.
Think about this everyday feeling for a second. Have you ever felt a little rush of excitement just because your phone vibrated in your pocket, even before you actually read the message? It's wild, but your brain has actually learned to associate that simple vibration with a potential reward. Maybe a friend messaged you, or maybe someone mentioned you in a post. Your brain doesn't know what's waiting for you, but the uncertainty itself creates this incredibly addictive anticipation.
And when we don't check our phones, that anticipation can quickly curdle into anxiety. We commonly call this the fear of missing out, or FOMO. Now, for thousands of years, being excluded from a group could literally threaten a person's survival. Our ancestors depended heavily on communities for protection and basic resources. So, modern tech is actually triggering a super ancient evolutionary instinct. When we feel excluded online today, those deep-seated biological alarm bells just start ringing.
Social media really takes advantage of that instinct to belong. What's really interesting about this is seeing how, when we watch friends traveling or celebrating online, our brains naturally compare our lives to theirs. But guys, this is an entirely unfair comparison. You aren't comparing everyday reality to everyday reality. You're comparing your messy, normal, behind-the-scenes reality to someone else's perfectly curated highlight reel.
Which brings us to Section 2, erasing the stopping cues.
So once these platforms successfully hook our attention, how do they keep us trapped? Well, by deliberately stripping away our natural boundaries. Think about it. In the past, media always had built-in stopping points. Magazines had pages, television had commercial breaks, books had chapters. These natural pauses gently reminded us, hey, it's time to stop. But social media introduced infinite scrolling. There's always another post, another video, another recommendation. Without those clear endings and natural pauses, our brains simply lose track of time entirely, and we seamlessly consume content for way, way longer than we ever intended to.
And while we're caught in that endless scroll, we're also heavily influenced by metrics. Ask yourself, why do likes matter so much to us? What is it about human nature that makes us so incredibly vulnerable to desperately seeking out digital approval?
Well, it all comes down to social validation. As humans, we naturally seek approval and acceptance from others. When people like our photos or videos, we feel recognized, we feel valued, and that just lights up those powerful reward centers in the brain. But here is the crucial point, and a really dangerous trap, attaching your self-worth to those numbers. If you start believing that your value as a human being depends on your follower count or your views, you are handing an algorithm immense power over your identity and your self-esteem. Your worth as a person can literally never be measured by an algorithm.
Moving on to Section 3, the survival mechanism trap. Now, algorithms don't just want any engagement, they want maximum engagement, and they frequently manipulate our negative emotions to get it. See, our brains possess a built-in negativity bias. Thousands of years ago, noticing danger is what kept humans alive. You simply had to pay more attention to the threats around you than to the positive, happy experiences.
Well, today, social media algorithms completely understand and exploit this exact same survival mechanism to feed us shocking headlines, endless arguments, and controversial content, all because it forcefully grabs our attention.
This brilliantly illustrates exactly what the algorithms are feeding on: anger, fear, outrage, surprise. Content that creates these intense emotional triggers consistently receives much higher engagement, and more engagement equals more visibility on the platform. This is the precise reason why negative news spreads like wildfire online, and why it often feels completely impossible to escape. Meanwhile, right alongside all that outrage, we're still constantly battling the illusion of perfection. Social media consistently creates this mirage that everyone else is happier, richer, and just more successful. But remember, people rarely post their real failures, their arguments, their daily stress, or their insecurities. The perfect online life is nothing more than a complicated illusion. The complex reality is that nobody's life is perfect, for sure, not even the people who seem completely flawless online.
All right, let's shift gears to Section 4, taking back the remote control. So, how do we actually break free from all of this? Well, the goal isn't necessarily to delete all your apps and throw your phone in the ocean, but rather to approach them mindfully. Honestly, social media is one of the most powerful inventions in human history. It isn't inherently the enemy. It offers massive benefits. We can connect with family across the globe, learn amazing new skills, and build incredible support communities. The real issue is simply using it blindly, without any awareness. Ultimately, technology should serve us. We shouldn't become servants to our technology. To truly reclaim your attention and break out of this psychological matrix, I want to enthusiastically walk you through 4 highly effective, actionable steps. First up, turn off unnecessary notifications. Nip those distractions in the bud before they can even ask for your attention. Second, set daily time limits. Seriously, even small boundaries make a huge difference in your day. Third, actively remind yourself to avoid the comparison trap, knowing you're only seeing a tiny, polished fraction of reality. And fourth, try to spend more time creating than consuming. Learn a skill, make some art, build real relationships. Use your device as a powerful tool, not just an escape hatch.
Understanding the deep psychology behind social media gives you back something incredibly valuable: your power of choice. Because once you actually understand why you're scrolling, you regain the power to decide whether you really want to continue. So the very next time you instinctively reach for your phone, pause for just a second and